And we're back in another episode of NBA 2K14. Last episode, as Kevin Durant and the Oklahoma City Thunder hits the game-winning last-second shot to defeat the Golden State Warriors in a close game, 126 to 123. And now we have another double here for you. We're off to Brooklyn, New York, but I decided to turn off some in-game music side as we're playing quick games. So now, next game on our hand, we're off to Berkeley Center in Brooklyn for the first game of the doubleheader for you. It features the two of the Battle of the Crosstown New York rivalry. It features Carmelo Anthony and J.R. Smith of the New York Knicks take on Darren Williams, Paul Pierce, and Joe Johnson of the Brooklyn Nets. It is gonna be a good game. It's gonna be Carmelo Anthony take on Darren Williams. It's gonna be the two of the strongest New York rivalry. And for this game, the Knicks gonna use the blue and Nets gonna use the white. And that'll do it for now. This is Andrei Kenshin. We'll be right back after this. Enjoy the video here in Berkeley Center in Brooklyn. Anyways, we are sending over to Kevin Harlan here in Brooklyn, New York, in Barclays Center. Anyways, let's get started. Enjoy the video here in Brooklyn. Here you go.
Welcome to 2K Sports. Glad to have you with us for a little NBA basketball. The contenders starting to emerge as the NBA season picks up a little steam. It's going to be the New York Knicks up against the Brooklyn Nets. Enjoy the game, fans. I'll see you at halftime.
And we see a while ago the Nets getting prepared for the task at hand. Brooklyn, the home of the Nets in a fine Eastern Conference battle at the Barclays Center. And now we take a brief check at the matchups. Our starting five for both teams. One of the guys we'll be watching out for today, Amar'e Stoudemire.
Yeah, and he's one player who doesn't need a lot of space to get to the basket. He's really crafty, the way he can blast his way straight through traffic. He's really strong.
Yeah, and I also love the way he can torture a defense by using the good old-fashioned pick and roll. When they execute it well, and he's on the receiving end of the pass, mark it up. It's 2 points.
Only one game away from New York here. The Knicks will be back home for the next one. Some doubts forming early for these guys. They've gone 0-4 to start the season. They need a win, fellas.
Checking out New York, they've been totally out of sync at the beginning of this season. They still haven't found their identity. They don't know who they are and what they do best.
I have no idea what they are either, Clark. I mean, this is a team that really is just kind of hard to figure out. And I think they may have to make some changes to try to get themselves going. Well, you look at the Joe Johnson trade for the Nets. They picked up his max contract from the Hawks, committing $80 million over 4 years. But, you know, last season, his lowest point output in over a decade, a down season overall. But, hey, there's a lot of talent on this team. He's not expected to score as much anymore.
Watch. Nets passing it around. And Williams, here we go. And it's blocked by Stoudemire. Smith kicks to Anthony. And that one's good. Anthony's got his first points in this one.
Oh, Maestro, he is so good at making those lead passes, like conducting an orchestra.
And for the Nets, they started the season doing some of that isolation offensively for Joe Johnson that we saw in Atlanta, Clark.
And even with the most efficient individual scorers, that's not usually the way to go offensively over the long haul. With Joe going through a bit of a lull in terms of his shooting percentages, I thought they might have been better served to anchor the offense around Brook Lopez inside.
And here is Williams. Following the three-pointer by Raymond Felton. Backing him down is Johnson. Pulls up, and Smith with the block. Chandler dishes to Carmelo. Smith back to Anthony. Kicks it to Smith. That one falls, coming off Anthony's feet. Anthony's got 3 assists now in this one.
It had been almost 2 decades since the Knicks had finished atop the Atlantic Division, guys, and since the most recent alignment changes in '04, they had never finished first. But that changed last year. Well, I tell you what, the defenders didn't even get a sniff of him on that move to the hoop.
Wasted no time on that one.
5 buckets without a miss. That's a fantastic start.
Williams passes to Johnson. Shakes off the strong D and gets the bucket for two. Yeah, the Atlantic title had just gone between the Nets and the Celtics for the last 11 or so seasons, but finally, the Knicks were able to reach the top, and they did it in a year, Steve, where the division was loaded with good teams.
Yeah, no doubt. With the Celtics, Nets, and Knicks, pretty good solid teams there. I thought the Knicks had an excellent season all in all, but in New York, the expectations are high, and they want more than just an Atlantic Division title.
And here is Johnson, following the three-pointer by Raymond Felton. Gets it to go.
His presence is very comforting for this team. He's kind of a fallback option for them anytime they need it.
And I think Doris Burke has something for us right now. Doris?
Mike Woodson had a few moments to share with me. He singled out KG as a player they would like to contain. He said that it goes beyond what KG can contribute in the stat sheet, explaining when Garnett gets going with his intensity, that just feeds into the rest of the team and it becomes a vicious cycle. Keeping Kevin from igniting his team is something they'd like to avoid here.
Thank you, Doris.
And he came off that screen. The defense just couldn't get over the top. Beautiful play.
Yep, and without a hand in his face, he's going to bury those.
Now here's Anthony. He had an 18-point outing in the last game against New Orleans.
And his work on the glass, certainly noteworthy. And he contributed in a number of ways.
You know, guys, Carmelo Anthony last year played pretty much full time at the power forward position, and the results were excellent. I mean, he's got the strength to play inside, and when you look at what he does offensively, it creates a lot of matchup advantages for him and his team.
And the whole new group out on the floor right now for the Knicks. And here is our 2K leaderboard. These teams have been on fire over the course of the past 10 games. The Knicks fourth.
Now, the thing I like is they're getting good shots every time down the floor, and it's due to their unselfishness as a team.
Here's Taylor. And we're just over 3.5 minutes into the first quarter. Here's Anderson, and he finishes nicely on the layup. And you look at Carmelo, do you think, Steve, maybe the success that LeBron had going inside and playing the forward had any influence on Melo playing inside?
I think there's no doubt, Kevin. The league has gone smaller in a lot of ways. A lot of former three men are now becoming fours. The only way to do that, though, is if you have the strength to deal with bigger players, and Melo certainly has that strength.
It's Terry outside. Count that one. Terry's got himself going there. His first points of the game on the deep ball. Smith kicks to Udra. Takes the three. It's good. The assist that time from Smith. Smith's got assist number 5 here tonight.
That's pretty much been the norm for them. Getting their points off assists, a great ball move.
Nice rhythm and flow for this team. Tremendous communication and alertness.
Now here's Terry. 8 points his last outing. Here's Anderson. And that one's good.
I think they need to get much more disruptive defensively. They can't just keep allowing these easy baskets.
I agree. They need more energy in the post, maybe some double teaming. They've got to get their defense in gear. What a start to this game. The offense is both dominating.
Tell you what, feels like a game on the playground. Forget about defense, just keep firing.
8 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Smith kicks to world peace. They get the rebound. Martin. And they're Gonna count the bucket and send him to the line. It could be a three-point play. The Knicks making a switch here. The Knicks shooting their first free throw of the game right now.
Yeah, this is a very good free throw shooting team. Guys, I mean, you look at the numbers, impressive.
Guys, that says a lot about the poise of this team. I mean, they've been so calm, cool, and consistent at the stripe this year. I mean, that's impressive.
Nails the buzzer beater.
And that's how you finish the quarter strong. Get a couple of points.
Yeah, I like the move to the rim. Sometimes you'll opt for the layup, but not this time.
The first quarter concludes in a double-digit lead on the scoreboard. Knicks out front. They're up by 10. And the second quarter will get underway just after this short break.
Tune in next Sunday night, December 8th. LeBron James and the Miami Heat hit the road to do battle with the Detroit Pistons. Live from the Palace of Auburn Hills. Be there.
Well, not exactly a close game so far, but as the second quarter starts here, plenty of time for a comeback. And looking at what we've seen from the Knicks so far, what do you guys think?
Pretty much smooth sailing offensively. They were in a rhythm right from the beginning.
Steve, they've simply made it look easy.
They've got Plumlee. Livingston is out there with Terry. Then there's Allen Anderson. And it's Evans in at the 4 slot. That's the Nets 5 as we get into the second quarter.
You know, as great as 2012 was for the Nets, in many ways, they really came up short on their last game of that calendar year. In 2012, the New Year's Eve matchup against the Spurs, the Nets only scored 5 points in the third quarter of that contest. He didn't get to that one quite in time, Kevin. Those can be tough to gauge sometimes.
A different look for New York. Hardaway's checked in for Stoudemire. And it's Pablo Prigioni in for Raymond Felton. Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Gentlemen, for Brook Lopez, a first-time All-Star last season, the offense had always been there, but it was his focus on defense and rebounding that has made the difference. Lopez admitted that he'd gotten lazy in the past, but the coaching staff started tracking his efforts, not just rebounds, but also attempted rebounds. And he said that helped him make him conscious of it. And guys, having teammates like Darren Williams, who said he, quote, should be a perennial all-star and stayed on him along with their coaching staff, really seemed to push him to that next level.
Yeah, he's figuring out how to take the best advantage of his great size, and I think he's well on his way. Thanks, Doris. And Clark, you were talking about the Nets. They went from looking like a team that could compete for a title to a team that, while still talented, Steve, and a lock for the playoffs, was a little closer to the middle of the pack than they thought.
Well, with the hot start they got off to, I think it was just a matter of time before they hit a cold stretch. Never fun to be held to just 5 points in a quarter. And that game had a lot of Nets fans wondering how the rest of the season would go. But, hey, they got it back together and still finished off pretty well.
That drops. And we're now about a minute and a half into the second quarter. Hardaway with it. And Prigioni kicks to Anthony. And again, New York with the triple.
Well, sometimes, guys, you can forget he's out there, and all of a sudden, bang, he'll string together 3 or 4 shots in a row and just take over the game.
And something else he does is he's great off the dribble. He can take it to the rack or pull up. So as a defender, you don't know how to play him.
So for the Knicks, Chandler comes in for Bargnani. And it's Stoudemire in for Amon Shumpert. Garnett goes in. Garnett is doubled. Williams finds himself wide open and drills it. Williams has got his first 2 points of the night.
Nice pass. He got the ball right into his teammate's shooting pocket. On time and on target.
You know, Darren Williams is so strong and so poised in the post. I'd like to see him down on the block a little bit more often. There are very few point guards in this league who really have the strength to deal with Williams in a post-up situation.
Johnson. The basket is good off the assist from Williams. And it's 6 points for Joe Johnson.
Boy, the drive to the bucket was nice, but how about the finger roll finish? Beautiful.
And the Knicks good for 2. And for Darren Williams, he is very versatile.
Yeah, he can pass it, shoot it, drive it, kills you with the crossover, and he's got excellent size that allows him to back you down, too. He can put you in the washing machine and take you for a spin every now and then.
Last game for Brooklyn, they picked up the W against the Denver Nuggets.
You know, so often in the NBA we talk about how you have to earn your points the hard way, but it didn't seem like that was the case. Everything came pretty easily.
Too many of their points came the easy way, Steve. You're right. On dunks and layups against the defense that didn't really put up much resistance.
KG, that's good.
Smart move with that mismatch he's got.
You know what? That extra advantage sure pays off on the mid-range jumper.
At a world peace, he's checked in for New York. Felton comes in for Pablo Prigioni. These players have been all about defense lately. Here are the steal leaders in the NBA this month. Darren Williams, 4th.
Boy, it's been a great few weeks for him, Kevin, especially when you look at what he's done defensively. His effort there has kind of reminded me of the Tasmanian Devil, and he's actually helped his team create scoring opportunities off its defense.
Outside world peace. He feeds it to Chandler. And the Knicks getting another bucket right there. Closing in on 4 minutes played here in the second quarter.
Guys, now with the Nets and the Knicks both playing in New York, it's just added to the rivalry that was already pretty strong to start with. But it's interesting, if you're from Brooklyn and you grew up rooting for the Knicks, who do you cheer for now? It's probably divided some households, a lot of rivalries in families alone. It should be interesting as this team takes further root in Brooklyn.
Andrei Kirilenko is checked in for Kevin Garnett and is blocked by Chandler. And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. Doris, over to you.
Yes, Kevin, for Jason Kidd, a Hall of Fame caliber point guard in his 19 years as a player, about a week after retiring, it was announced he'd return to the league as head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. He said, quote, "I went from being one of the oldest guys in the league to being a rookie all over again." Kevin, he said it makes him feel young again.
Nice to have him back. Thanks, Doris. Got a piece of it. And it's out of bounds. The Nets will take it the other way. Alan Anderson's checked in for the Nets. Terry comes in for Joe Johnson. Nets trailed by 19. And back to this Knicks-Nets rivalry. The Knicks, Clark, are considered the more established dominant team. But over the last decade, the Nets actually have the better winning percentage. And it might come as a surprise to some. Beating the Knicks when you look at games head-to-head. Clark have had more playoff success.
Yeah, when you crunch the numbers, clearly the Nets are considered the upstarts. But the fact remains, over the last decade, as you said, Kevin, they've been the better team. And I think whoever you root for, with both of them playing at a high level, it's a great time to be a Hoops fan in New York.
Well said, it is. Williams attacking. Anderson outside. Back to Williams. Launches a three. And again, Brooklyn with the triple.
Incredible. Only took them a few seconds to answer the three ball with one of their own.
Let's keep this thing going, guys. I love seeing a three-point battle like this.
Look at the combination of size and touch. That's why he's a great finisher down low.
The Knicks shooting their fourth shot at the foul line here. Here's Terry. The shot misses. A dominating first half of basketball, and so far hasn't been close. Knicks lead by 19. And we'll be back right after this.
And now, brought to you by Sprint. Let's get right to it, fans. We got plenty of first half rivalry action to review. New York leading against Brooklyn. The wins haven't been easy to come by to start the season. No time like the present to turn things around. Carmelo Anthony just having his way against Brooklyn. How's that for a shooting percentage? 100. Yes, 100% from the court. Not too bad. For the Nets, though, they've looked out of sync. They'd like to forget that first half. Coach has not been happy with what he's seen out there, and they'll likely come out with major adjustments. Alan Anderson making a big contribution. At the break, 7 points, and is also sharing the ball, picking up assists as well. And let's look ahead at the games that won't be tipping off until later tonight. It'll be the Bulls out at United Center against the Heat. Some division leaders seeing each other in that one. It's an 8:30 Eastern time for a tip-off out there. And the other game that's scheduled later tonight, the Los Angeles Clippers up against the Grizzlies in Memphis. Fans are eager for that rivalry game to get going. It's going to be a loud one in there. That's a 7 p.m. tip time, 10 Pacific. That'll wrap things up for me here in the studio. Thanks so much. I'm Damon Bruce. Now let's get back out to Kevin Harlan for the second half of play.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
And welcome back to New York City as we look at an enchanting view of Lady Liberty.
Melo having a terrific game. He's got 13 points and 8 dimes. He's been putting it up, and it's been going down 100% from the floor.
Yeah, he's just so focused right now. You can see it in his eyes.
And New York, looking at who they've got. Anthony, Stoudemire, and Chandler, their front line. The guards, Ray Felton and J.R. Smith.
You know, after losing Jeremy Lin going into last season, guys, I think some fans were concerned that the team might slip back to isolation basketball and their offense would stagnate, but instead they flourished as a three-point shooting team.
Smith drives in, out to Anthony. Back to Smith. Some nice passing by New York here. Nice shot by Felton.
Well, as long as the threes keep dropping for him, he'll continue firing away.
And they are dropping for him. What a game he's having from deep.
And back to the Knicks personnel moves, you got to give them a lot of credit going out, finding shooters, defenders, and Steve, playmakers to surround their star players with.
Yeah, they ended up with Bargnani, putting him at the kind of the shooting 4 spot, adding another 3-point threat. The Knicks are always going to be aggressive personnel-wise. This was already a good team, second best record in the East, but they're looking to get better. How many times have we seen a possession like that from them today, ending with a basket coming off a pretty pass?
Well, if you just looked at assists as the measuring stick, they've been by far the better team.
It's Williams with the drive. Here's Watch. And again, it's Brooklyn converting.
Tell you what, he's enjoyed a very good day shooting the ball so far. He can bring them right back into this.
You know, with so many injuries to his team during last season, Paul Pierce easily could have taken things lighter, but he just doesn't roll that way. I mean, as a matter of fact, he played to a pinched nerve in his neck just to stay on the court when his team needed it. He is truly one of the all-time great players in the league and one of the outstanding Celtics of all time, too. And that's saying a lot with all of the Hall of Famers that are worn in green and white.
Yeah, that's a difficult shot in the face of a defender that towers over him.
You know, he almost seems to enjoy those mismatches, Steve. It gives him a chance to show what a strong finisher he is.
The Knicks leading by 21. Smith kicks to Anthony. Back to Smith. That one falls, coming off Anthony's feet. Anthony's got 10 assists here tonight. So active. And back to Paul Pierce. With Rajon Rondo out with that horrible ACL team, he really carried the Celtics.
Yeah, especially offensively. I mean, we saw the drain on his efficiency, the lowest field goal percentage for him in 9 years, but he still can shoot threes, still gets to the foul line. They relied on him an awful lot last season.
Anthony, and again, it's New York.
It seems like when they've gone to him, he's really come through, and that's not something they should get away from.
Johnson with it. Now Anthony defending for three. And again, Brooklyn with the triple.
That is not enough coverage. Got to do better than that defensively. Basically, no coverage. I mean, defense did not look very good there.
Here's Stoudemire. It's good, and he drew. Contact on the shot, so he will go to the line. A three-point play chance here. The Knicks making a switch here. Livingston's checked in. The Knicks have looked good at the line. They're perfect in 4 attempts.
The Knicks got off to a fast start, but when you employ as many old bodies as they did last year, it's hard to sustain the level of play you need over the course of a full season. It's one reason they started to falter a bit late in the year.
New York leading by 21. Hardaway kicks to Anthony. Right side jumper. Puts up a three. Here's Stoudemire, and he makes good on the layup. Stoudemire's got his 3rd basket of the night.
And their solid play in the paint continues, guys.
Well, that's been the focus, Clark, as we've watched. I mean, they've created one chance after another inside.
Livingston dishes to Pierce. Here's Blotch. Lays it in without an inch of room around him. Blotch has got 12 points in the game. And Clark, you said it, the Knicks did hit that low last season right after the All-Star break into early March. Steve, when the vets saw the finish line in sight, they picked up their play and got back in it.
That's right. They won 13 games in a row late in the season, catapulting themselves back into the top tier of teams in the East, and let everyone know that they would not be exiting the playoffs early. That really was the start of that run.
Williams outside, and the Nets another three.
And he's someone the defense has to keep track of at all times because, even when he doesn't have the ball, he moves so well without it. He's constantly a threat to catch and shoot.
And what a maestro he is as well. I can't tell you how many times I've seen him throw what looks like a blind pass. And I wonder where it's going, and suddenly it's right on target in the hands of his teammates for a basket.
Livingston passes to Pierce. Here's the floater. That's out of bounds. Brooklyn will retain possession. A different look for New York. Evans off the pick from Karolinko. Johnson, that's for 2. The basket good off the assist from Evans. That's now 8 points for Joe Johnson.
Well, it wasn't a textbook pick, but he still managed to score. Good concentration on the finish.
It's stolen by Taylor.
And they'll probably let the clock wind down here.
Exactly. No need to give the ball back before the end of the quarter. You can see that they're not as aggressive from the three-point arc. They had far more attempts in the first half.
Shumpert with it. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him. With 4 seconds on the clock, the shot's good from Smith.
He is feeling a terrific terrific percentage from the field.
Heaves it up. No good. Three-quarters of play all in the books, and this one all but over already. It's the Knicks opening up a huge gap. And do not go away, as we'll be back in just a few moments with the start of our fourth quarter coming up next.
Friday, December 7th, Paul George and the Indiana Pacers go up against Tim Duncan and the San Antonio Spurs. It's the real deal.
Welcome back. Fourth quarter action starting up in what has been a one-sided show. And Brooklyn has possession. This their first look at this year's New York squad.
But we saw how competitive and entertaining the season series was between these two teams last year. That was fun to watch.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups courtesy of Gatorade. For the fourth quarter. So for Brooklyn now, Terry is out there with Tyjon Taylor. Then there's Evans, that's Andrei Kirilenko, and it's Johnson in at the small forward. From out on the wing, he knocks it down. And they match up really well.
Kevin, they really do. Sometimes it comes down to the X factor when these two teams play. And really, it could go either way. They're that evenly matched.
Here's Shumpert. And again, New York with the triple.
They are killing them with that three-point shot here in the second half.
Well, the defense fully stretched out trying to stop that shot and still not able to get it done.
The shot's good from Evans.
The offensive execution really well done. They got the ball in tight for the high percentage shot.
Taylor against Felton. Pass to Anthony. Johnson's there. Releases. And again, it's New York.
Well, this is what he does. He's shooting it well. He's scoring a lot of their points, getting them in front.
Terry outside. From deep. That's good.
What are they thinking leaving him with all that space out there? Do they not know? Have they not heard that this guy is unbelievable? That's a layup for him.
So New York going with almost an entire new group here. For the New York Knicks, they come in off the loss to New Orleans.
I know that's a game they'd like to forget. It's sort of a tough day for them all around.
Yeah, I don't see any reason they won't be able to rebound from it pretty quickly, though. I mean, this team throughout the season has shown itself to be pretty resilient.
Smith outside. Dishes to Carmelo. Yes, and it's Smith with the assist that time. 26 points for Carmelo Anthony.
He's a big reason why they have the lead right now. He's made all of his field goal attempts thus far and remains hot from the floor.
Nice shot by Terry.
All of those three-pointers coming off his fingers have been right on the money.
Hit his foot, and it's being called a kickball. Joe Johnson, he's checked in for Brooklyn. Anthony kicks to Felton. Watch with the steal. Pierce attacking, and there's the slam dunk to finish it off.
Textbook example there of how to use defense to create offense.
Yeah, beautiful. Transition play after the steal all the way to the basket.
Wasted no time going from defense to offense.
It feels like they're starting to pick up the intensity as the game itself starts to get a little more tight and close.
And yes, sir, that one drops. And that's now 9 points for Amari Stoudemire. The Nets have gone 5 of 6 from the field to start the fourth quarter on a roll. It's Williams with the drive. Gets it to go. The Knicks leading by 22. Outside Anthony. On the wing. And a big bounce off the rim, but it sinks right in. Anthony's got 28 points for the game.
I like the way they've played here in the first half. Just an intelligent floor game, getting good shots.
Numbers certainly back that up. They're shooting a much better percentage.
Anthony left side. And count the basket. He was fouled, and he's going to the line for one more.
And tack on a few more points to the lead. Why not? I suppose this is an emphatic showing for this club.
And, Steve, they did it in style, a beat down the entire way.
And a new group out there on the floor for the Knicks. Outside, Taylor. Lots of room. And it's Brooklyn scoring again. New York's gone 2 for 2 from three-point land to start the fourth quarter. Smith kicks to Martin. Back to Smith. Fourth quarter of play, and over 3.5 minutes have gone by. Anthony dishes to Smith. That one falls, coming off Anthony's feet. And that's 23 points for J.R. Smith.
Well, he's one player who can get hot in a big hurry. It's like he has an on-off switch, and once it gets flipped on, he's tough to stop.
And don't forget now, a walking highlight reel every time he steps on the court. His flair for the dramatic makes him worth the price of admission all by himself.
Taylor's shot, good.
Looks like they're going to finish strong, but there just aren't enough ticks left on the clock.
Well, Steve, it's a good run they're having now, but they just waited too long to have it.
And he hits it and gets hacked on the play. A three-point possibility if he can convert the free throw.
Look at how quickly their lead has grown over the course of the last few possessions.
Boy, they've really saved their best for last, haven't they?
And let's take a moment, guys, to get your take on the scoring so far for the Knicks.
So far, they've turned in a fantastic performance from the three-point line. It's been a weapon all game.
And their passing also continues to be outstanding, Clark. In the second half, we're really seeing a good, efficient offense as a result of that ball movement. Looked to me like the defender didn't get squared up and get his feet set.
Good work by the officials. A nice call. That play can be tough to judge sometimes.
There's 39 seconds left to play here in the fourth. Shot by Kirill Lincoln. Again, the Nets for two.
That's what has to happen if they're going to turn this thing around. He's got to take charge. He's got to be aggressive and really look to push here offensively.
And it's out of bounds. The Knicks able to retain possession here. And Brooklyn making a change here. Evans is checked in. And it's the Knicks with the ball. Gets it to go.
And the crowd here, of course, not happy about the outcome. But you know what? We saw a team tonight that came in prepared to do battle on the road, and they clearly wanted to win.
You know, they were determined to steal this game, and they showed it, Steve. Played harder, and got the job done.
Shooting for Brooklyn. Taylor.
That free throw, no good.
2 shots.
And he's good on the second. New York's gotten in the groove from three-point range. They are 4 for 4 since the third quarter ended. Here's Udrich. So no problem for New York as they get the win. Not much to be critical of with this win, Clark.
Not at all. I mean, they showed up not just to play. They showed up to give great effort and to win, and they did both.
Well, it's time to say so long. For Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan along with our 2K Sports crew, thanking you for tuning in. Now it's time to present our Jordan Player of the Game, Carmelo Anthony.
Well, looks like the New York Knicks about to dominate over Brooklyn Nets by 29 points. Let's check out the view box score. Paul Pierce got 16 points with 2 assists, 14 points for Jason Terry. Andrei Blotch got 12, and Darren Williams got 12 and 9. Carmelo Anthony got 31 13. J.R. Smith got 23 and 12. What a huge dominate by the New York Knicks. Outscored the Nets in the first 4 quarters. The dominated win by the New York Knicks. Next game, we're gonna skip the Grizzlies and the Clippers. It's the Clippers. Win by 5 points, defeat the Grizzlies 26 to 12. The Clippers defeat the Grizzlies 105 to 100 as Mike Conley got 26 and 12. Chris Paul so close to triple-double with 23 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. Jamar Crawford got 70 and 9. Blake Griffin got 50 and 5. Reddy got 13 and 3. And DeAndre Jordan got 12 and 8. So now, for the main event of the day, we're up to United Center in Chicago, Illinois. It features the two of the division leader matchup. It features the two of the East and the Beast as LeBron James, Dwayne Wade of the Miami Heat take on Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah of the Chicago Bulls. And that'll do it for now. This is Andrei Kenshan's the first game wrap up as the Knicks dominate the Nets by 29, 117 and 88. I'm Andrei Kenshin. Say so long for Barclays Center in Brooklyn. We'll see you later on today here at United Center, Chicago for the Heat and the Bulls. This is Andrei Kenshin. Say so long for Barclays Center in Brooklyn. It's time to say sign up and peace out. Good night. Goodbye, and reminder: we'll see you later on today here at United Center Chicago for the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls. Sign up and peace out. Goodbye.